Hello and welcome to the Leveraged Podcast. I'm Paul Richard, your host, calling you from St. Louis, Missouri, up to Trett Albin. Trett Albin, thank you, from ACOS Solutions. Trett, it's good to have you with us today, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's good to be here.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we have a commonality between us in the networking groups that we're in, and so I'm excited to find out a little bit more about ACOS and yourself. Let's start out. For someone for the first time who's just getting introduced to you, what are some things about you and what brought you into this ACOS solution industry?
My wife told me to.
Really? Okay.
ACOS is pretty much my wife's creation.
Okay.
She started out years ago with Coach Tax Service. She's got an accounting background, tax background. Through the years, several years ago, her and a mutual acquaintance had a office together, and my wife did taxes. Her friend did insurance. So they kind of co-trained each other to do taxes and do insurance. And that's kind of how my wife got into the insurance industry also. A few years later, she never really wanted to have her own insurance agency. A few years later, things worked out. Some businesses sold. Didn't really fit in with the few places she was at. So she ended up creating her own insurance agency, which is ACOS Solutions. I think that was in 2019 whenever she started ACOS. I, on the other hand, am an old construction hand. Traveled all over the country working, lived on the road, and finally quit that in 2023, I believe. And she said, you need to come to work for the family business instead of working for someone else. So
There you go.
that is how I got into the insurance business.
Now, what were you doing in the construction world? Were you a general contractor or what type of work did you
I
do?
worked for general contractors. I've got an actual degree in construction management, so I've done a lot of development work, civil type work, grading, underground utilities. Spent probably 12 to 13 years out traveling the country working on the big windmill farms, putting in electrical cable and fiber optics and stuff that run those wind farms.
Very good. And then what transpired to bring you into or out of that business?
Tired of traveling. Spent a
Just
lot
started
of, like I
traveling.
said, yeah, just burned out on traveling. And being gone, wanted to come home, spend some time with my daughters. I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with them growing up. So trying to get some of that time back. And like I said, trying to help the family business instead of somebody else's business for a little while.
Very good. Now, with ACOS Solutions, what's your role there at the company?
Producer agent. I've stepped in and starting to work a lot more of the commercial product. Being a former contractor, I can talk with contractors and tradesmen and really understand their needs and what they're looking for. The farm stuff, I like to do the farm stuff. I'm an old farm boy, so I like to deal with farmers and talk with them and help them through some of their stuff. But there's a lot of home and auto as well. It's just not quite as fun.
Yeah, I could see where that would be an issue. And what do you enjoy most about this now that you've done it for a couple of years? What do you enjoy most about it?
Probably education, really. I mean, I obviously didn't understand a lot of it before I got into it. And the things that I've learned and opened my eyes to the actual insurance and getting into the policies and the coverages and explaining to people, really what is what and if they're covered, if they're not covered, because it's pretty amazing the people that are not covered like they think they are, and you can set it out and explain it to them and really open their eyes and get taken care of like they need to be.
That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. And that is something where it's not urgent, but it's important. You got your quadrants of things out there. You've got things that are important and urgent. They get all the attention usually, and then you got things that are urgent and not important. They tend to get more attention. But then you've got the non-urgent, important things, which I think insurance fits that, and because you don't need
Yep,
it till you need it, right? And that's
that is correct.
Yep, and so that is a big deal. I'm curious, so ACOS, I know in somewhat of a slang, it means all kinds of stuff. Is that really what it means in your business?
That is correct. It's
Okay.
my wife Rachel and a friend were sitting around talking about all the services they could provide when they were coming up with ACOS Solutions, and they said, "Man, we could really do all kinds of stuff," and it stuck. So
Okay.
people People think it's Greek, what's it stand for? And it's not Greek. It's not a family name. That's the next thing. Is it a family name? No, it literally stands for all kinds of stuff.
That's so cool. Yeah, I actually thought it was Greek at first. I really
Hmm.
did because I guess just that K gives a little bit of feeling for that.
Yeah,
So your tagline is from the cows on the farm to your broken arm, we've got you covered. What's the
correct.
story behind that tagline?
So basically, I talked about the farm insurance. So we do home and auto, farm, business, commercial, pretty much anything PNC related. We'll also do medical insurance. So we can do individual health, group health, Medicare. My wife is, if she could do anything, just one thing, it would be Medicare. She loves Medicare, loves helping the older folks and guiding them and helping them through that and getting them what they need. But so that's from the cows on your farm with the farm products to your broken arm with the health products. It kind of covers the whole spectrum of insurance.
It really does. And what caused you guys, I mean, Medicare, tax prep, insurance, bookkeeping, payroll, financial services, and those kind of things. How did you decide to have such a broad offering? Because a lot of places just have, I'm either only, property and casualty
Hmm.
or an only life or whatever. What made you guys decide to cover the whole gamut?
Kind of timing. The way things worked out with when she was changing or businesses were being sold and kind of bouncing around, it just kind of timed out where she wasn't in the PNC for a minute. So she got into the Medicare market. And then everything kind of came back together as a whole and offering everything. So after you offer everything and you kind of do it by yourself, then you understand why people specialize for sure. But it's
Yeah,
it's actually worked out because you can actually cross sell and people can come in one door and get multiple different products taken care of with the same person instead of having to go to three different people, one for your taxes, one for your insurance, one for your Medicare. They can just come in here and get everything taken care of in one place.
absolutely. How has the construction background aided you in your transition into this business, or
Mm.
has it?
Knowledge to talk to contractors, really. I've got a lot of the knowledge of the equipment, the processes, the needs that they have that some insurance agents don't understand or even underwriters don't understand because they've not been in the business. They've not been around the work or really understand what's going on or what's needed. I can sit down with them and understand what they're talking about, understand their tools, understand their equipment, and really dial in what they need. It's probably hindered me because I was in management and supervision. So I still ran with the superintendent attitude for a while, trying to sell and deal with underwriters and companies. And I had to take a step back from that after I started this for a little while.
Yeah, old habits die very, very slowly, don't they?
Yes,
I
they do.
understand. Yeah, yeah. And my background's in the electrical industry. I spent 13 years working for a Class A electrical contractor. I didn't twist wire and install wire. I did design, sales,
Mm,
blueprint redlining, project management, all those kinds of things. So if I was in your group, I would be handling high and low voltage side of the house on that
yeah,
from a design, all the way from design to implementation. It was a design build type arrangement that I had with my clients. And I loved it. And it never gets out of your system. So when I transitioned into real estate and the virtual assistant world, it was difficult to make some changes.
yeah,
And this week, we were working on a house and they needed some plugs moved and some other things. And man, I just knew, because once you know what's behind the wall, behind the drywall, and a lot of people don't know what's behind the drywall, you
hmm,
can solve a world of problems, and
yeah,
know what's going on. So, and you dealt with
yeah.
all those things. So that's fantastic. How do the offerings that you have several services that you're offering. If there's a small business owner out there that is coming to you, let's just say it's a plumbing contractor, what do those people need that are usually missing in their business?
The the general liability side's pretty. I'm not going to say generic, but the GL policies are a lot the same. So unless they really need some specialty type coverage for equipment or something like that. I mean, that would probably be the biggest thing. Is their equipment covered right? Do they have small tool coverage? Do they have scheduled equipment coverage for the larger priced items, $2,500 and more? You usually got to schedule those. Do they have all that covered? And probably the biggest disconnect would be somebody that's been in business for 5+ years, but they've had the same policy since they started. Kind of like you said earlier, it's not really high priority to them, but they really need to check that every year. And do I have my new equipment on there? Am I covered for this? Am I covered for that? And they need to really audit themselves every year with their insurance agent and be sure and tell them, hey, I've bought this, I've bought that, and just make sure they're covered because there's a lot of them, of any contractor that really aren't.
Got it. Yes. You actually answered my next question ahead of time. I was going to say, how often do you think you should do an insurance review? And
Mm,
annually probably be minimum, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's always a good thing. And then, so what's your staffing like there? There's you and your wife. Is there any other employees or agents with you guys?
Yeah, we've got a customer service rep up front. She does a lot of work for us, a lot of the customer work and customer service work. And we've got several kind of, we call them outside agents. They're not in the office all the time. They just kind of work as they want to work. And they do pretty good for us too. So
Good, good. Okay. Are you hiring right now, or are you guys kind of good in a good place?
we would like to get some agents for, you know, the residential and home and auto stuff and the commercial stuff. It's getting ready to come into Medicare season here in a few months. We would like to have a few more Medicare agents also.
Very good. All right. Well, I will definitely keep my eyes and ears open. And if somebody's watching the podcast and they have those skills or know somebody that has those skills, definitely, look. Do you offer any training or things through your company, or do they need to come packaged and ready to go?
Right now, we'd like to have ready to go.
Okay.
We can train. It's pretty time involved if you haven't done any of it before to start from scratch and learn. So it's pretty involved, but so experience would be preferred.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. In the process with these things, Trett, has there been some mistakes you're seeing people make when they buy insurance? Is there any recommendations or tips or tricks you could tell people about, when let's just say you're just starting your business. Is there any tips and tricks you'd say or mistakes people have made that you would tell them not to make?
Find an agent that will sit down and talk to you. I
Yeah,
hear from so many people here lately that my agent won't call me back. My agent won't talk to me. He's never explained my policy to me. That's critical. You have to know how you're covered. And with the home and auto, so the business is not as bad as home and auto. With people coming in and they're undercovered or they don't have a clue what they've got, and their home deductibles are way higher than they think that they are. It's whether it's personal or business, you need to have an agent that will explain the product to you. And if your agent
yeah.
won't, I would say go find another agent.
I did a recent interview with somebody from Aflac, David Herrera, and in Guerrera. I mean, and he, is there some supplemental offerings that you guys have, or do you work in tandem with somebody like that to cover somebody?
Yes, we've got some supplementals that we can offer people.
You can offer those as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. So it's my understanding that you guys are an independent agency. What are the advantages of an independent agency, maybe over a captive agency?
Just being able to shop. I mean, it's each company has their specific uh, it's customer, or if it's homes, they have their specific type homes. Some like the brand new homes, some like the older homes, and you can see it reflect in their premium pricing. And we kind of know somebody comes in, we kind of know where to go first to do our quotes, and we've got a lot more to offer just being able to shop like that.
Very good. What insurance coverages do business owners often overlook when they're getting their initial setup done?
Again, probably the equipment, how your equipment is covered, how your stock, your storage, whatever you want to call it, is covered. That's probably the biggest thing in business. I mean, the general liability is pretty standard across the board, unless you have to have higher liabilities of 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. It's pretty standard, 1 million, 2 million. most business policies, but the coverage of your tools and equipment or product or anything like that's a little different.
Okay. What is an umbrella policy and who should consider having one of those?
Everyone. It's umbrellas, it's just excess liability coverage, basically. More tailored to your home and auto product. It kind of follows your auto, but it covers so in auto you got to have 250, 500, 250 most of the time to even get an umbrella. So they make you have a little higher liability limit coverage to even be eligible for an umbrella. But then you can get umbrella coverage 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, however you want. So once that 250, 500 is expired, then you have coverage up to $1 million or however big an umbrella you want. So
Very good. So Medicare can be incredibly confusing according to some of the people that I've talked to. Why is it difficult for the average person to navigate the whole idea of Medicare?
there's so many variables. I mean, you got Medicare Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D. Everybody's like, what do I do? And honestly, I can talk about Medicare a little bit, but I'm not as knowledgeable as my wife.
Sure.
Just all the different and the different companies. So there's multiple different companies offering these multiple different plans, and you really have to sit down with the customer and ask them. Like in this area, obviously, what hospital system do you use? Do you use Cox? Do you use Mercy? What pharmacies do you use? What medications are you on? And things like that. And that when you start answering all those questions, that will kind of push you to the path of where you need to go, which company offers the best coverage for what that customer needs. But you have to ask those questions to know where to put 'em.
Very good. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So ACOS also assists with business startups, LLCs, bookkeeping, and payroll. What problems do you see when entrepreneurs try to handle everything themselves?
They get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
A lot of people try to set their own LLCs up and they don't get all the paperwork and documents that they need. My wife, Rachel, has kind of learned that process and been through that process. And then with her accounting degree, has kind of figured some of that stuff out. She's helped several small businesses and we stay pretty small. We're not going to get into the large company LLCs and stuff like that. But the small startups, we can help, get all their paperwork in order. She can help them get their payroll set up, their bookkeeping set up, and get all their stuff to take to the bank to get business loans and stuff like that. And she's been able to help several small businesses get started like that.
absolutely. I was just wondering, so when you consult with some of these business owners that you are, or do you offer, like I'm just trying to think through when I've had my insurance agent come in that I've been using, a lot of times I'm just working with the staff person rather than the agent. Is that common with yours, or do you normally have contact with them? I mean, other than just saying, "Hey, where do I email this to?" or something like that. Are you usually the one that's answering the questions?
For the most part, I mean, we're still involved pretty heavily. Lindsay can take care of a lot of that stuff. She's our customer service up front, but I try to really talk to the customer, especially if we're making a sale, trying to explain the quote, stuff like that. I will sit down with them, take the time and actually take care of the customers.
Very good. Your mission there at ACOS, it says that the includes doing what's right and making an honest living while helping people avoid being taken advantage of, which I think is a great tagline for a company. How do you, Trett, maintain that philosophy as your business grows?
Just doing the right thing. I mean, it's like I said earlier, education, telling people what they're buying, what they're actually getting, and if they're not our customer, they bring us their current policy with whoever they're at, and we can either say, and we'll tell them if they're where they need to be, that's where you need to stay. That's a good price. That's a good product. You're covered like you need to be. We'd love to have you, but you're where you need to be. Or we can look at their current policies and point out the holes in it. You're not covered right here. You need more coverage here. You need to do this. Either go back to your agent, tell them you need to up your coverages here, and explain to them why, and or we can quote you here and bring you over here. So it's doing the right thing for the customer, and we see a lot of times that is not the case with everybody. I'll just say. It's a
Absolutely, absolutely. And just like other industries around, yours is very competitive. There's you know, a lot of options. Everybody knows an insurance agent or realtor,
mhm,
it just every corner, there's somebody doing that. In the real estate business, there's 2 million realtors roughly in the United States, and everybody's getting their license and coming in, and then there's half
mhm.
the people are, wow, 33% leave every year. So, how do you build trust with people to know that you're going to be there when you need them? How do you do that personally?
With the customers,
Yes.
just a lot of it is them being able to talk to me instead of Lindsay up front or Rachel. It's being able to talk to your actual agent. I would say maybe not half of our customers, but most of my customers have my personal cell phone, so they can get a hold of me whenever. And not a lot of people offer that, and that's kind of getting started up too. You know,
Yeah.
offer that,
Yeah.
and but
Very
I
good.
mean, just being available and being honest with them.
So do you have office hours there, or what's your setup?
Yeah, we're typically 9 to 5, but most of the time we're here late. We're here on weekends a lot. Try not to be, but just standard office hours are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Very good. And so what in a small business type environment when you're working with them, is there an ideal client that you would say this is somebody I'm really looking for to do business with? What's your ideal client look like?
Anybody. It's
Anybody?
yeah, anybody. Yeah, we'll take a look at anything. It's kind of funny because we seem to get a lot of the strange, kind of off the wall not customers, but businesses that have a little different needs, and sometimes it's hard to shop for, and it gets interesting sometimes. So, just your basic, a lot of times just your basic restaurant, retail shop, plumber, electrician. Those are nice sometimes to just sit down and write a policy pretty easy instead of having to jump through a bunch of hoops.
Very good. And then where do you see ACOS Solutions in 5 years from now? Where do you want to be?
It'd be nice to probably be about double what we are, but I don't know that we want to get too big out of hand. It's just a lot more hassle to chase and deal with, but it'd be nice to be a little bit bigger for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard from some agents that they would like to have either their family come in, like their kids or something, and take over the business. Do you guys have that kind of thing going on, or what? Do you have anybody that you might pass it on to once you
Mm.
get out?
We've got two daughters. We've got one that's 19 and one that's 14, and they both say they're not going to have anything to do with the business because they see how we work.
So that ain't
So,
happening, huh?
but but my wife said that too because the tax business came from her family. Her
Okay.
dad, actually, her great grandma started it back in 1939 in West Plains, and it's been passed down through the generations. So I'd say one of our girls is they might end up with it because my wife said she would never do it either, and here she is. So
I wondered about that because
yeah,
I actually grew up in an insurance household. My dad, we moved to this Midwest area anyway, because of the Hartford Insurance Company, Hartford Insurance Group, and that. And so I moved like as a kid. I felt like I was a Air Force brat, but really I was an insurance brat. Because I got moved around a lot. My dad took jobs for regional manager or something like that in about 4 different states. So we moved from Connecticut, New Jersey, Maine, Nebraska,
wow,
Kansas, everywhere. And so, yeah, it was kind of all over the map. So I get it. He was a CPCU. He's still going at 90 years old now. He's still doing. He doesn't work out there in the market, but he knows his stuff. And my sister went into the business. She works for Mercury Insurance in California as
mm,
well. And I'm the oddball. I didn't go into the insurance
yeah.
businesses at all.
Well, I will say it's nothing that I ever really aspired to be, but it's been interesting. It's been working out so far.
Very good. Yeah. So if you were going to write a book about the insurance business, what would you label it?
I probably can't say that on here.
That's okay. I just thought that might be that question popped into my head, and I'm like, that would be a very interesting thing to talk about. One of the questions in our recent group meeting or a referral group meeting was if your friends found out you were arrested, what would it be for? Okay. So That tells a lot about a person,
Yeah.
so that's awesome. Well, cool. So you guys are located in Nixa, Missouri, right?
Yep. Correct.
ACOS Solutions. And so I would say, we just need the listeners to come in for a consultation or call you and set up an appointment to come see you and just kind of find out, the assessments that you guys do. Is that a free service or what?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll take a look at what you got and, like I said, see if we can help you out, make sure you're covered right, and let you know.
Okay, that's awesome. So to reach out to you, what's the best phone number, email, website, Facebook page? What's the best way to reach out to you?
The website is acossolutions.com. Phone number 417-986-6686, and info at acossolutions.llc.com was our general email address.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, Trett, is there anything that we didn't cover that you would like to comment on?
I don't think so,
All right.
unless
You
you
did a
really want to
great
get down
job.
into the details.
I figured we'd keep it kind of high level on this one and
Yeah.
give you a chance to kind of show us what your services are, understand a little bit better, where you're coming from and build confidence in you and your wife to be able to engage with you on business issues that they have going on in that. And so, yeah, I would encourage any of our listeners to visit with Trett, get a hold of him, stop by and Nixa if you're in the area and find out. Is there any other states you operate other than Missouri? I didn't ask you that.
We are licensed in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, Illinois, and Texas.
Wow. Okay. So I'm glad I asked that. So if you're in any of those states and you'd like to consult with Trett, give him a call and contact him as soon as you can. Well, Trett, thank you for being on the program today. It's been a pleasure to have you on. We learned a lot and I'm excited for you.
All right. Thanks for having me.